All right. So today, the objective is to finish up this summer review of everything that you should have gotten out of the summer work. And you are free right now to ask me any question on 1 through 66. Yes. Anything on 1 through 66. All right. That's outstanding. Yes. Good.
On 60.
All right, let's take a look at 60 because, again, 60 is a nice review question because it's dealing with fractions. All right, so I'm glad we're doing that. All right, now, for us, last year we worked really hard on two-step equations, so it shouldn't be a big deal. All right, but I am going to review with you. This is not what I want on your paper. All right, but this is how I would teach someone who doesn't know. We would put a minus 3/4 and we cross this out. That's what we did last year. You should be trained in that right now. All right, you shouldn't have to do that. In my opinion, you ought to just be able to say I subtracted 3/4 from both sides. So what happens to the 3/4? The 3/4 crosses out or it cancels. All right, so then you're looking at the other side and you're going, if it was on that side a plus 3/4, on the other side it's a what? It's a minus 3/4. So we would be subtracting 3/4, but then we'd have to remember that we need a common denominator. And that was 9/12. Everybody should be able to do that. And now when you look at that, you just say what? 2/12. But then again, you never say 2/12. You always just go ahead and do what? Reduce the fraction. So then you're saying 5/6 C is equal to 1/6. That's how I would like for you to do it. All right. Now, when you're dealing with fractions, remember to undo multiplying by fractions, we say that you multiply by the reciprocal. All right. So when we do 6/5, we do 6/5 just to show you the work. Now, hopefully, you realize that these will cancel. And really, they cancel to a what, though? Someone tell me. What is 5/6 and 6/5 reduced to?
1/5.
No. I don't want the answer. Over on the other side, it was 5/6 times 6/5, and I said they canceled. But my question was, what did they cancel to? Very good. Very good. They canceled to a 1. All right, they canceled to a 1. Right? So I'll go in slow motion for some of you. All right? So if we multiply, there we have it. All right, there we go. So that's how I came with a 1. Now, obviously now we would have to go ahead and cross out the 6's, right? We would cross out the 6 here and the 6 here. So my final answer, we could just say easily C is equal to what? 1/5. I need for you to be masters of fractions. All right, there's going to be lots of fractions on the test Friday. All right, make sure you're good at it. And then after this test, then you'll be able to use your calculators. All right. Now, moving forward with today. All right, 67 through the rest of them, 96. All right. Now, what I want to do today is I'll just start at 68 and I'm just going to go down. All right. And this is how I want your brain to function. All right. If you're not sure what I'm doing, please speak up. All right. Now, I have an equation with variables on both sides. Does everybody remember what I tried to tell you last year about the variables? We want to try to keep the variables what? Positive. So I want you to remember I'm moving the 3b to the right, which means I'm then moving the negative 15 to the left. Is everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
All right. Now, that means I'm adding 3b to both sides, correct? So when I add 3b to both sides, that gives me 5b. And when I add 15 to both sides, that gives me what? 22. All right, that honestly is not necessary. I just expect you guys to just be able to do that. That should be on your paper. The only thing that should be on your paper is 22 is equal to 5b. Now, those of you guys who are doing what I'm asking you to do, that's great. That's a good review for you. If you haven't got the technique solidified, right, you might have to make yourself some notes. I want you to do that. All right? So now in this particular case, we're going to divide by 5 to finish it off, right? So we would just now be able to say that B is equal to 22/5. Any questions or concerns with that? Nobody? All right. Yeah, no, never decimals, always fractions. If you wrote it as 4.4, I'm not going to argue. That would be correct. All right? But we just don't write as decimals because the decimals don't always terminate. We don't want to deal with repeating decimals. All right? Now, on this particular problem, number 70, I want to make sure you look at this real quick. That just simplifies to what?
14.
14. So then I move 14 to the other side, which makes it what?
48. Oh, wait, no.
What is it?
20.
20. So now listen, 4v equals 20. I'm totally good with that. If that's too fast, slow down. You got to know your own limits. All right, if you're not understanding how I got 4v equals 20, now's the time to ask. Yes. Okay, so what we did here, let me move this down a little bit so I can show you. And again, I want you to ask so we can clear it up for the next problem. All right, I want you to ask. All right, now, do you agree that 20 minus 6 is 14? All right, so the next step technically should be 4v plus 14 equals 34. Now, what's the next step? Then you subtract 14. Do that. You know what I'm saying? If you want 100 on the test tomorrow or on Friday, more is better. More is definitely better. All right, I'm just trying to show you the mental math is what we're practicing. All right? Now, girls, are you all right from there? 4v equals 20. And then v equals what? V equals 5. Beautiful. Any questions or concerns? And if you've already done it, give yourself a check if you know it's right. You mark X's on the ones you missed, so you go back and review the ones that you missed. That's what the situation is. That's what you should be doing. All right? Now, here, nothing hard. 2.2 plus 0.8 is what? Yeah, 3n plus 5 equals 4n. You should be able to just look at that and say what? n equals 5. Any questions? Any questions? I agree. Very easy. All right. Let's go with 74. Again, we're trying to combine terms. All right. So 2.3 and 4 is 6.3b minus 13. Now, I want the 6.3 on this side because I want the variable to be positive. So what's 7 minus 6.3? 0.7b equals what? Equals what? Say it again.
12. Negative 12.
Be careful now. You're making too many mistakes.
Negative 14.
Negative 14. Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead. Tell me what you think, because most of the time, from my experience, it's wrong. You know what I mean? People are not always correct. So give it a shot. All right. Yes.
Why did the 6.3 and 7b become?
It's like $7 minus $6.30. That's how I think in terms of money. But the other thing is, remember now, I'm subtracting 6.3 from both sides, remember? All right, and then I'm subtracting 1. So listen, that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. For those guys who are asking me those questions, that's good. All right, now apply it to all the other problems. All right, that's the only thing you were forgetting. When you move things, you change the signs. When you move things, you change the signs. Is everybody happy with that? All right, and now what? Divide by 0.7. All right, now I'm going to blow this up over here. Negative 14 divided by 0.7. I would want you to know that's the same as what? 140 divided by 7. Does everybody remember the decimals on that? Dividing by 0.7, move the decimal over, move the decimal over. Everybody happy? So that ends up being B is what? B is Nope. Nope.
2.
No.
Negative.
Go. Goodness. What?
Negative
Say.
20.
Negative 20. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Negative 20. Again, the number one mistake kids make is they forget about the negatives. All right, so please double check and verify your negatives on that. All right. Now, the other thing I know you heard me all last year say, if you don't know something, speak up. It's not doing any good to sit there. All right. No one in here is the expert yet. All right. So when you don't know something, all these problems you're going to see again. Very similar. No tricks. All right. You're going to see these problems. You have to be a master of solving equations. If you can do the solving equations, the algebra is going to be an easy year. All right. Everything is based off that. All right. Now we want to do a little of the distributive property, correct? So we'd have 2x minus 5x. Now the mistake that everybody makes. Negative times a negative is a what? So this would be plus 15 equals 2x minus 20. Right? Is everybody good with that? Now, look right here. There's lots of ways of looking at it, but the first thing that popped into my mind, now look up on the board so you can see what I'm talking about. All right? Watch what I'm doing. Watch what I'm doing. See if this makes sense to you. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if 2x is on both sides, they can just do what? Now, my question to you is, do you see how that makes it an easier problem? Does everybody see that, right? All right. Now, if you did 2x minus 5x and got negative 3x, is that okay also? Yes, it's going to be the same answer. But I'm trying to teach you to think of numbers a little bit differently. You're trying to simplify things, not make things tougher. All right? So, with that, all right, I still want the variables positive. Do you agree? So in my mind, I can look at that and say, I want 5x over on the right side, and then 35 would be on the left. Now everything's what? Positive, and I'm not going to make a careless mistake with the what? With a negative. All right? Now, just to make sure, I'm going to do this. This is moving over here. When I move something, what happens to the sign? It changes. So on the right side, it's going to be what? Positive. And then I'm going to move the what? The negative 20 to the right side, or to the left side, so that becomes what? It becomes a positive 20. Right? Now, visualizing things, super important. And like I said, it's no point sitting there not understanding what I'm doing. All right, it's very simple. Very simple. So final answer here is x equals 7. All right, good? What?
Would you have to move things around, or could you do it the long way?
You do it however you get in the right answer. I'm just trying to show you, I think my mind is wired math, and all I'm doing is I'm trying to show you how I'm thinking about things, because I try to work in the most efficient way possibly to solve problems. I'm not saying it's the only way, and I'm not even necessarily saying it's the absolute best way. All right, but it's consistent. All right, I don't like the variable to be negative because that's where I used to make all my mistakes. All right, so I try to avoid variables with negatives. All right, now let's take a look at 78. All right, this is just a proportion. So last year we did proportions over and over and over. What's the rule for proportions? Cross multiply, right? So everybody's cross multiplying. Now when you cross multiply, again, just do the distributive property right off the bat. So when I cross multiply, I'm going to get 3a minus 24 equals 24a plus 60. Does anybody have any issues with that? Anybody have any issues? Yes. Well, remember, I'm multiplying 3 times a minus 8.
Oh.
And then I am multiplying 12 by 2a plus 5.
Oh, okay.
Good job. See, you're not the only one. All right, speak up. Good for you.
So how'd you get 24?
What's 12 times 2?
I mean, no, like 3a minus 24.
How did I get that?
Yeah.
I multiplied 3 times a
Yeah.
which is
I don't know
3a.
what A is.
3a. 3 times a is 3a.
Oh, yeah, but how, like,
And then 3 times negative 8,
oh, sorry.
right?
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we did. Everybody happy with that? Now I'm moving the 3a to the right side, so that becomes what? 21a is equal to, subtract 60, that becomes what? Negative 84. That's okay. With what? Tell me. Shh. Let her ask her question, and then we'll go on to somebody else.
Okay, I was fine with like what it was, and then
So you're okay right here. Listen to me.
yeah,
You're okay here, right?
yeah. But when we moved the 3A over,
So, okay, now listen to your brain. I'm moving the 3a from here. Yes.
okay.
So what's 24 minus 3?
But so it turns negative when it goes to the other side.
It signs change. I wouldn't say it changes to negative. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The sign change. So if it's positive on one side, the other side it's going to be, if it's negative on one side, when I move it over, it's going to be, there you go. Right? That's the rule. Hold up. What?
So if you move the 60 over to the 24, that would make the negative 60?
Yes. Brilliant. Right? On this side here, very good observation. This 60 over here is positive, but as it comes over to the other side, it's got to become what? It's negative. And negative 24 and negative 60 make negative 84. Right? So again, guys, I just want you to make sure you know what we're talking about on that. Whenever you move something from right to left or left to right, you just change the sign. Now, how do I undo multiplication? Divide. So a was,
Negative 4.
or a is negative 4. Beautiful. Exactly correct. Alrighty? Everybody happy? Alright, let's take a look at 80. Alright, let's just go ahead and do the distributive property real quick. 14 plus 6t equals negative t. Now again, in my mind, I'm moving the negative t to the left, right? So that becomes what?
Plus t, or just t?
So that becomes, yes.
Negative 7t.
Well, you can do it that way, but I said move it the other way, so that would be 7t over here. And then the 14 on the other side would be what? Negative 14, so you still get the same answer, right? So don't worry about it. All right? T equals what?
Negative 2.
Yes, t equals negative 2. Now, again, some of you just are comfortable with negatives. If you're comfortable with negatives, you can put the variable whatever side you want. If you're comfortable. Personally, for me, I always made the variable positive. That way I don't have to worry about the negative mistakes. All right? So here we go. A little bit tougher. So now we have 75 minus 9g equals negative 20 plus 10g. Is everybody happy with that? Good, good. Come on.
Right, for the top one, how is 14 negative?
Okay, good. So watch what I did. Good visual. This moved over here, right? So that became positive, right? Then this moved over here, which makes it negative.
Oh, so like they switch around?
Brilliant.
Oh, I didn't know.
Good. All right. Now, again, moving things around. So, just to make sure you're with me, this is coming over here. When it moves over, it becomes a what?
Positive.
Positive. Now I'm going to move this over here, so that becomes a what?
Positive.
75 plus 20.
I'm confused why.
95.
Hold on. Okay, I'm confused.
It's okay.
Like
I'm going to tell you why.
you take the number, okay, so you move it over. Which number do you hit to subtract that?
Okay, so let me go back to something I think that you're just going to relax. It's okay to be confused. That's why we're in school. All right, so I can help you. All right, so I'm going to start over real quick, okay? I'm just going to go backwards here because I think it's easier. All right, so here's where we're at so far. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
All right, now let me show you what we did, what I made you do last year. So last year, I made you do plus 9g plus 9g plus 20 plus 20. We're good. You hear me on that?
Yeah.
That's how we did it last year, right? You with me? So now you drew your line underneath it, right? And then we said what? This canceled and this canceled. So now do you see it's 95 is equal to 19G.
Can I just do it like that?
Yes, of course. Of course. Of course.
Yeah, wait, hold on.
That's negative.
Never mind.
Look. And then the final answer then when we divide by 19, G would equal what?
5.
G would equal 5. How did I get what? Just look, please, at what we did. Okay? Finding your mistakes is very important. All right? Now let's look at 85. Could we distribute on 85? Yes, but there's an easier way. What could I do first? Because I notice what? 4 and 36. That's right. Because this is held together by multiplication. This is like 4 times p plus 3 equals 36. So this is held together by what? By multiplication, right? So I can do what here? Divide, right? So now watch. P plus 3 equals 9. So P equals 6. Now let's say I didn't see that. I would do 4P plus 12 equals 36. 4P equals 24. Do I get the same answer? Yeah, same answer. Same answer. I just think when you can make an observation to make the problem easier, you should.
So you can only do that when you can.
That's right. So some of you now should look back over here. We can't divide both sides by 5 because 9's not divisible by 5. On this problem over here, I'm not going to divide by 2 because that's not divisible by 2. All right, was there anything else? No, nothing else. All right, so now on this, I could actually divide by 2, but it really doesn't help anything. All right, so let's just go ahead and distribute. 4b minus 8 equals 10 minus 2b. Everybody happy with that step? Adding 2b to both sides and adding 8 to both sides. So we would be with what? 6b equals 18, right? So b equals what? B equals 3. Right? All right. Now for 89, we're just doing what? Cross multiplying, right? So we get 24 plus 8y equals negative 4y. Everybody okay with that? Now again, I would add the 4 and move the 24, so I'd have 12y equals negative 24. Al, you with me?
Yeah.
And so y equals what? Beautiful. Y equals negative 2. Okay, let's look at 91. 2w minus 2 plus 4 equals 4w plus 4. 2w plus 2 equals 4w plus 4. 2w equals negative 2. So w must be negative 1. Yeah.
For that one,
Oh, okay, I see.
You okay with that? So again, just to highlight, this combined right here to the positive 2 there. And then I moved things, variables to the right, numbers to the left. All right, number 93 is a pain because I tried to combine a couple parentheses to see if I could throw you off a little bit. All right, but don't be distracted. 2 plus 3y minus 3 equals 22. 2 bracket 3y minus 1 equals 22. Does everybody see that? Now, could I distribute the 2 or could I divide the 2? Yeah, I could divide it. Right, so that would just make it easier. 3y minus 1 equals 11. 3y equals 12. So y must have been what? Y must be 4. All right. Now I'm looking at 94. 94, what do I have to do? No. Divide by -3. Good. If you distribute, you're fine. All right, but I'm trying to get you, look, make things easy. Divide by -3. X minus 8 equals -8. Right? So x had to be what? 0. 0 is a good answer. 96. All right. 12 minus 12y equals 10y minus 10. I don't think so.
Oh wait, no. Sorry.
So now I have 22y here and 22 there. Do we agree?
No.
So y equals what?
1.
Y equals 1. All right. Now, please listen to what I'm asking you to do now. All right. For tonight. All right. And I know I'm short. All right. We got lots of time. What time does the bell ring? 55. So we got 7 minutes. What I really want you to do is I want you to try to do the rest of them. All right. The left side. Just do the left side for me. But if you made some mistakes or you weren't sure, please go back and view it. All right, and look what your mistake was quickly. Which one? I'll be happy.
71.
All right, let's quick look at 71. All right, actually, I think 71 is really a good question. But now, what I want to do is I'm going to put for 71 what I want you to know, and then before you freak out, I want you to think about how I got that. All right. So here we go.
The opposite.
That's a 1.
Oh, okay.
So 1 minus 2/5.
Oh.
1 minus 2/5 is what? 3/5. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
100%? All right. So you're combining. Anytime you're doing variables, you need a common denominator. And 1 is what? 5/5. 5/5 minus 2/5 is 3/5. All right. Then you multiply by the reciprocal. 5/3. 5/3 cancels. A had to be what? A had to be 5. All right. Was there anything else unusual on that left side? Anybody? Oh, I skipped 84. Yes,
So just to clarify for 71,
That's right.
you did 1 minus 2/5, right?
exactly.
Okay, I just
Because 1 minus 2/5 is what?
2/5.
Beautiful. All right, guys. Don't waste time. All right, please do the left side right now. If you already did the left side, compare it with somebody and see if you got the same answers. All right? Get to work.